The Juniper-Tree. This was a suggestion from a viewer. The comment was in my Snow White video, and I'll link to that in the description below. After reading the story, I can kind of see why it was recommended. Get ready for a fairy tale that involves a tree, a missing son, a singing bird, and enough drama to make you thankful for your family's dysfunction. In this video, I summarized the fairy tale while also reacting to some of the events and maybe giving you maybe a laugh or two. Alright, so here we go. We're told the story takes place about 2,000 years ago. There's a husband and wife who love each other greatly, but they're sad because they have no children. The wife prays day and night for a child. One day, while peeling apples under a juniper tree, the wife cut her finger. She looked at the blood in the snow. Snow? With apples? She looked at the blood in the snow and said, "If only I had a child as red as blood and as white as snow." Really? Somehow, at that moment, she knew her wish had come true and she was pregnant. So that's how they got babies 2,000 years ago? The next fall, she stood under the same juniper tree, and the fruit ripened instantly around her. Naturally, she ate them eagerly. Surprisingly, she grew ill almost immediately, and after a short time, she told her husband that if she passed away, to bury her under the juniper tree. A month later, she actually had a baby. Yippee for them! After seeing that she had given birth to a boy who was white as snow and as red as blood, she died of joy? Of joy? Her dutiful husband did what she asked and buried her under the juniper tree and wept for her. But he had a kid to take care of, so eventually he remarried. The husband and the stepmommy had a daughter named Marlene. The woman loved her daughter greatly, but not so much Snow White Boy. Looking at him, quote, pierced her heart, end quote, with the thought that he would get everything and Marlene would get nothing. She was selfish. I mean, she wanted the best for Marlene, and she wanted Marlene to have her share of the property. You know, all of it. Like evil stepmommy in Snow White, evil stepmommy here became obsessed with how to get rid of Snow White Boy. You know, for Marlene, of course. One day, Marlene asked her mom for an apple, and her mom gave her a beautiful one. Then Marlene asked if she could give one to her brother. See where this is going? The mother said yes, but once he got home from school, I guess she can't give it to him before he got home from school. Immediately, she saw that Snow White Boy was about to come home, so she snatched up the apple out of Marlene's hand and told her she had to wait until her brother got home and got his. Marlene went off without a complaint. The boy came in and was offered an apple, but evil stepmommy had an evil look on her face. He questioned the look, but agreed to the apple anyway. As he leaned in to grab the apple from the chest, evil stepmommy smashed the trunk lid on his neck. Then she realized she didn't want anybody to know what she had just done. I wonder how she's going to get away with this. She tied a handkerchief around his neck to hold his head to the rest of his body, and then she sat him at the front door with an apple in his hand. Oh yeah, 'cause no one's going to find that odd. Oops, Marlene actually did find it odd and told her mommy that something seemed wrong with her brother. Whatever will stepmommy do now? If little Marlene sees this is odd, surely her husband is going to. Evil stepmommy came up with a new evil plan. Have Marlene smack her brother in the ear for ignoring her, and when his head rolls off his shoulders, tell Marlene she hit him too hard and killed him. Holy moly. Of course, Marlene believes she just killed her brother. Evil stepmommy convinces her that no one can know what happened, and Marlene goes along with it. Evil stepmommy makes pudding, like some kind of Yorkshire pudding or something, and includes the boy as the meat filling? What? Naturally, Maureen is crying during all of this. Her tears drop into the pudding and it becomes the salt seasoning. Oh my gosh, do we want to finish this story? The husband comes home and asks about Snow White Boy. Evil stepmommy says he's gone to stay with his mother's great uncle for 6 weeks. The father is unhappy that Snow White Boy didn't tell him goodbye, but he leaves it at that. They all sit down for dinner. Marlene is really upset and the husband assumes it's because the brother has gone and assures her he'll be back home soon. Then he asked for seconds of the... I can't say it. And he threw the bones under the table. Marlene gathered up the bones in a silk handkerchief and laid them under the juniper-tree. She, for some reason, no longer felt sad. The juniper-tree became rather animated, as if it were clapping its branches together. A mist enveloped the tree, and a fire began. Emerging from this sudden fire was a beautiful bird. It rose up into the air and sang what we're told is a magnificent song. It flew away singing, and the tree went back to normal. Marlene was happy because she felt like her brother was alive again. And so she went inside, she sat down at the table and ate. Oh, come on. Meanwhile, the bird went on to a goldsmith's house and sang his song. I will not sing this song for you. Believe me, you do not want me to sing it. But the song goes, my mother killed her little son. My father grieved when I was gone. My sister loved me best of all. She laid her handkerchief over me and took my bones that they may lie underneath the juniper-tree. Kiwit, kiwit, what a beautiful bird am I. I don't know why, but the song moved the goldsmith so much that he begged for the song to be sang again. The cunning bird said he only sings once for free, and so the goldsmith gave the bird the necklace he was making for a second chance at the song. After that, the bird flew to a shoemaker's house and sang. The shoemaker was so moved by the song, he called his family, the apprentice working for him, and all the children, and asked the bird to sing to them, to which the bird said he would not do so for free. The shoemaker gave the bird a pair of red shoes for the encore. The bird sang the song again, and then he flew off to a mill. There were about 20 men working in the mill. The bird settled on a lime tree in front of the mill and started to sing. One by one, the men came out to hear this so-called magnificent song. By the time the bird had finished his last line of the song, the final man had come out of the mill to hear it. All the men loved the song and wanted to hear it again. The bird, of course, said no unless they gave him a millstone. The men gladly gave it to him, and he sang once more. Does anyone in this story think the song is a little bit dark and question why the bird is singing such a song? When he finished the song, he flew away to his father's house with the chain in his right claw, the shoes in his left, and the millstone around his neck. Well, this is one very strong bird. Just like when he left them, the family was sitting down eating dinner. The father is saying how he is feeling lighthearted and happy. Evil stepmommy feels uneasy, like a storm is brewing. Marlene is crying again. Then the bird settled on the roof. The dad is overjoyed as if he's going to see an old friend he hasn't seen for a long time. But evil stepmommy says she feels as if there is a fire in her veins. Marlene continued to weep in the corner. The bird then flew to the juniper-tree and began to sing his song. My mother killed her little son. Evil stepmommy covered her ears to dampen the violent storm sounds in her ears. In her eyes, there was a burning, flashing like lightning. My father grieved when I was gone. The husband, paying absolutely no attention to what's going on with his wife, had a different experience. He thought the song was wonderful. He felt like the sun was bright and warm, and there was a scent of spice in the air. My sister loved me best of all. Marlene laid her head down on her knees and sobbed even more. The husband, still not noticing what's happening with his wife and daughter, announced he had to go outside to get a better look at the bird. The wife begged him not to go, but the man went anyway. She laid her handkerchief over me and took my bones that they may lie underneath the juniper-tree. Kiwit, kiwit, what a beautiful bird am I. When the song was over, the bird dropped the necklace around the man's neck. The husband ran inside to show his wife and daughter what the bird had given him. The wife was in such fear now that she fell to the floor and her cap fell off of her head. The bird began again. My mother killed her little son. Evil stepmommy begged not to hear the song again, but the bird didn't stop. My father grieved when I was gone. My sister loved me best of all. I guess Maureen liked the necklace and thought she would go out and see if the bird would give her something. Why? Why would she think the bird would give her something? But she went outside. She laid her handkerchief over me and took my bones that they may lie. Then the bird tossed the red shoes to Marlene underneath the juniper-tree. Kiwit, kiwit, what a beautiful bird am I. Now Marlene is really happy and she's dancing and jumping around in her new shoes. Seeing that Marlene and her husband got something, the wife said, "Maybe I should go outside. Maybe it will lighten my misery because right now I really feel like the world is coming to an end." When she crossed the threshold, crash! The millstone came down on her head and she was crushed to death. Well, he gave her something, all right. The sound brought the husband and Marlene outside, but they only saw mist and flame and fire rising from the spot where evil stepmommy would have been. When the mist and fire disappeared, wouldn't you know it, Snow White boy was standing there. He took his father and his sister's hands, and they all three went inside and ate. Oh my goodness, this is one crazy story. Thanks so much for watching and listening. If you like this video or like what I do, be sure to subscribe for more videos.